On the first night of WrestleMania 36, the show was closed out by The Undertaker wrestling AJ Styles in a Boneyard match. Now, there had been a lot leading up to this match about what is a Boneyard match? I don't think there's ever been a match named a Boneyard match in WWE history before. And Styles went on his Mixer account and basically said that a Boneyard match is like a street fight in a cemetery. But when we got Undertaker versus AJ Styles on night one of WrestleMania 36, it resembled more of a horror or science fiction movie scene than it did a traditional wrestling match. And this won't be everyone's cup of tea. The old school mentality of not wanting to expose the business, the Jim Cornette fans might not have liked the supernatural elements that were present in this match. It's not clear, maybe the fans who didn't like when Matt Hardy seemingly teleported on Dynamite the other night, they might not have liked that The Undertaker seemingly teleported during this match as well. Of course, we've seen Undertaker teleport several times throughout his career. He's even risen from the dead at least once when he did so at the Royal Rumble. He's probably risen from the dead several times throughout his 30-plus year career. But in a period where no fans are in attendance for shows, these types of cinematic style matches seem like a good option, and the response from fans has been, for the most part, very positive about this match. WWE tweeted out that the feedback they're getting for the Boneyard match is overwhelmingly positive, and you have to start to wonder, how will this impact the rest of Undertaker's career? Because seemingly to do these matches, I mean, he could do these matches for another, 5-10 years? He could do these matches until he's in his 60s. If there's anything risky that he needs to do, it's all filmed ahead of time. I'm sure there's ways to film these matches in such a manner that they're not risky to the Undertaker's health. He's not risking any injuries doing them. So, I mean, we've seen action actors go deep into their 60s or even older and continue acting in film. So why couldn't Undertaker continue to do these type of matches for another 5, maybe even 10 years? Could this add a whole new period onto the career of The Undertaker? Will this character go even farther? Will we be talking about The Undertaker as having been a WWE wrestler for 40 plus years? It's possible if this type of wrestling match becomes more prevalent in WWE. And this current world predicament, is that a horrible way to phrase it? The world predicament that we're in could provide an opportunity for these types of matches to become more commonplace. It seems as though we're going to see another one tonight. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt in a Firefly Funhouse match could be something very similar to what we saw in the Boneyard match on night one. Now, if we are going to get more Undertaker Boneyard matches, or maybe not Boneyard matches, but something similar to Boneyard matches, doesn't that open up a whole new world of matches that Taker could have in the future? And one match I want to specifically mention that they could easily do in this type of setting is the often talked about but never delivered upon WrestleMania match between Undertaker and Sting. Is there any reason why? Now, obviously, Sting has had horrible neck injuries. But Sting would not have to actually wrestle to participate in this style of match, this cinematic style of match. He could come in, do some acting, and for anything dangerous, he'd sub him out for a stunt double or something similar. Could the success of WrestleMania 36's Boneyard match lead to the Undertaker versus Sting match everyone wanted for the longest time, but that we've never got. One thing's for sure. The success of the Boneyard match means that Undertaker versus Sting, which had previously thought to have been off the table now, I think it's back on the table now as something we could possibly get in the future. Now, a lot of people have been drawing comparisons between the cinematic elements of last night's Boneyard match to the cinematic elements of Matt Hardy's Broken Universe. And this is what Matt Hardy put out on Twitter, basically saying he always envisioned that these types of cinematic matches could be a branch of pro wrestling, or a genre, even, of pro wrestling. And a lot of other fans who were supporters and followers of Lucha Underground during the 3 or 4 seasons that it had, Lucha Underground was very much a cinematic style promotion. Now, their matches would take place live in front of fans, but there was so much of what that promotion did was these Hollywood caliber scenes and adding in these supernatural elements, which we got in the Boneyard match, which we're likely going to get in the Firefly Funhouse match. And we could possibly get, Taker's had supernatural elements almost his entire career. Well, he's basically been a dead guy for his whole career. Dead people who wrestle, that requires some supernatural elements to it. But I think Matt Hardy and fans of Matt Hardy's will point to that the Hardys' Broken Universe really put a large spotlight on these types of matches and really opened a lot of fans' eyes to the potential of these types of matches. And I think given what we're dealing with now, there's a big opportunity for this genre of pro wrestling, this branch of pro wrestling as Matt Hardy wants it to become. There's more of an opportunity for it to thrive and grow now than there ever has been before. Also concerning The Undertaker, it was advertised during night 1 of WrestleMania 36 that a limited edition series is coming on to the WWE Network, which is going to focus on The Undertaker. And this is very much a Undertaker outside of his character, which is something we haven't ever really gotten up until the last couple of years. We've seen him on social media. I think he did one of those Broken Skull sessions with Steve Austin, I want to say. I think that happened. But it seems like this series is really going to dive deep into Taker behind the scenes. And in some of the videos that they showed last night, it seems like Taker is seriously considering hanging them up and retiring. Of course, we've seen this. This has been a narrative of Taker's career for the last few years. Certainly a lot of people thought that he had retired when he left his gloves and hat in the middle of the ring after losing to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But now, does what happened last night and the response that it's getting from fans and those in the wrestling industry, does that change Taker's view on potential retirement soon? Does this style of match and the success of the Boneyard match at WrestleMania 36, does this lead into a new period for Undertaker where he is starring in these types of matches? I think a lot of fans hope so. I think a lot of fans hope that we will get The Undertaker versus Sting in this style of match. But we will just have to wait and see where WWE goes from here with it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more news or reports from Spoiler Free Wrestling.